When you watch someone with special talent like Kevin Durant, you can't help but marvel at the fact that he can score the ball in many different ways, making it look effortless. But how exactly is Kevin Durant doing this going into his 16th season in the NBA? Sure, there's those people that like to talk about him jumping teams and how he's now playing for the Phoenix Suns, but hey, you want to know what else jumps with him from team to team? It's that amazing skill set. We could chit chat about the drama, but over here we all about hoops. And when you see Kevin Durant walking down a defender to just rise up drilling it right in his face late in the quarter, it shows you the fearlessness and killer instinct KD has on the court that we must dive into. Developing this mindset KD has when approaching the game is only gained through experience and strong mental frame, so even though you may think these simple pulls over the defense are easy to knock down, they can actually be more difficult than you think sometimes. Since most teams are aware of his shooting excellence, they'll send two defenders at him when it might be a mismatch, but KD is so locked in and has been doing this for years, he makes a pull-up from 27 feet over two defenders look like an easy day at work. These shots can all out be demoralizing to the other team sometimes, because in basketball, you want to make the offense work hard for their shot, so if KD is just effortlessly pulling up over you like he's at the park, then it could sink the entire team's momentum. And please don't let it be a smaller guard out on him, or else it's pretty much an automatic bucket when he rises up to let it fly. Standing at 6'10" with such a high release point on that jumper, if you have guys guarding him who give up that size advantage, he will target that and get into the jumper in no time. Posting up Russell Westbrook at the top of the free throw area, the length KD has combats the physical play from Westbrook, so once he catches with Russ out of position, Durant can attack with one dribble and pull up before hitting the double team. Usually when we see KD put it on the floor to get to his spot, it's a two dribble pull up, which we will discuss a little later. But when he has a mismatch on him, he won't try all the gimmicks and play with his food, as he'd rather just get right to the money instead. It's two options that he usually goes to off of these. Usually he will catch the ball with an advantage over the smaller guys because they're fighting to make the entry pass hard. So with the momentum in his favor, if the initial defender is still trailing, he will pull up before hitting the back line of defense, but as you can see, Dort was on his back heavy in a quick manner, so this is where on-the-fly adjustments come in and KD feeds the up fake to get him off his feet to then pull up right over Williams. If the defense does play it a little differently, then this is when option 2 comes in handy. As you can see, Reggie Jackson is clearly out of place after going for the steal, just how Lou Dort was. So now Durant can take that one rhythm dribble, and since Jackson is on his side and the help defender is right up on his grill, KD fades back to drill it from about 8 feet. So even though it's a slight difference, it shows you the very small detail that goes into the game that Durant has just mastered. Some guys want to get super flashy with their moves on the court, and others just want to get the bucket as efficiently as possible. With KD, he's just a pure hooper, so however way he can get to his spot the fastest is the way he'll approach the game while adding in his slight flair. By being such a threat of knocking down shots from the perimeter at a high clip, that 38% shooting from deep makes defenders hustle out to him, so this is when he can aggressively attack the closeout to sink the pull-up bucket. Most of the time the defense is going to be coming from one angle, so Durant will attack back the way they came from, and with this downhill momentum versus a hard change of direction for the defender, it usually leaves KD an opening to get to that sweet spot to drop it in. These stunt jabs before going the other way can make a defender look silly at times right before KD pulls up, but let's be honest, we know things don't always go as planned, so if the defender does recover like Green does here, then KD can shift back again with the through the legs, and unbothered by the contest, it's an and-one bucket, cause you gotta let my man land safely. Now will it always be that easy to get into the bucket? I wouldn't necessarily say so, but remember that 2-dribble pull-up I said we would discuss later in the video? Well, that time is now, and this is how KD can get to his spots on the floor when he is determined to get there, even if the defense is tight on him trying to stop it. By bouncing the ball on the deck a couple times before pulling up, it can keep the defense in a state of uncertainty, especially if you can finish at the rim fairly decent. Because the defense doesn't know if you're going to continue to push to the basket or stop on a diamond pull up. So this is where space creation is your most valuable weapon. When matched against defenders his size who can give him more of a problem, KD will use that one dribble to initiate the attack, and then on the second dribble, he's either using it to get to his spot on the floor, or he's using it to get into the defender's body to then sink the jumper. On this play here, when he puts it on the deck for the second time, he uses it to get right into the heart of the defense for the bucket. After facing up against Murray, on this play he used that second dribble to get into Murray's body, creating some space, and as he bumps him, he's gathering into his jumper, so once he plants, it's a seamless motion into the pull-up. Now as you watch KD, I want you to start paying attention to this 2-dribble pull-up and when he chooses to go to each option. Just to show an example that may be a little harder to notice, he initially gets stopped one way, so now the attack starts, and 1, 2, he's now in the paint. Williams played the drive rather than the shot, so he's just too late to even bother the jumper. Getting the high screen here, it's even more difficult to pinpoint it, but the attack starts when Durant used this cross push dribble. So on this second dribble, this is when you would normally see KD hop into his gather to rise up, but since he has that veteran IQ, he finds a way to initiate the contact for the foul call and still sinks the shot. I know when most of us are at home watching, you may tend to miss the subtle things Durant does, but those sneaky arm nudges into the defender's body on the pull-ups open up gaps of space that are key to knocking down shots consistently. Perfecting these little details can take many hours, and even though these are moves that Durant practices on a daily, in a real game he must adjust to what the defense gives him, so making these adjustments while knocking down these tough shots really shows you how dialed in KD is on a nightly basis. If you let him get into his groove out there on the floor, then it's going to be a long night for the defense, as his bag is full of smooth, buttery moves, and when you pair that with his precise shooting, this is when he turns into an elusive shooter. Showing shades of the Iverson crossover, Durant shifts Robert Covington 2 times by first using the through the legs crossover, so before he hits the big, he stops and pops with a quickness, and with no room to land, it's an and one bucket. That handle comes out when Durant needs to get to his spots in a more crafty way, and I'm not here to say he's the best ball handler or anything, but KD can handle the rock pretty well, so just when you think you have him contained, he shifts back the other way throwing you off, and with his ability to stop on a dime, he's already shooting the ball before Gordon can even get a hand up. On all of his pull-ups and step-back jumpers last season, Durant knocked down 51% of his 399 shots, just displaying how deadly he can be when it comes to shooting the ball. It can be simple pull-ups, difficult ones from deep, or some that take him dishing out more of a combo, but regardless, his game is so smooth and it screams longevity. Players that drive the ball and have a more aggressive playstyle usually can't stay in the league as they get older due to the wear and tear, but when you're a shooter, it's a totally different story. KD's game is more low to the ground, pick his spots, get to them the easiest way and pull up. So this can keep Durant going for a long time and is ultimately the reason why he has terrorized the NBA for 15 seasons now, can use the smoothness as a weapon, and last but not least, holds the keys to the secrets of simple bucket getting. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to drop a like before heading over to watch the Steph Curry shooting analysis. I thank you all for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.